Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of ideaXme Rich Connectedness podcast. I'm Dr. Shima Beigi, founder of Mindfulness Engineering and your ambassador at Rich Connectedness podcast series. Today with me is the amazing Sayuri Tanaka, and she's the founder of Sayuri Healing Cafe in Bali. And Sayuri, thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Our tradition at ideaXme podcast series is to give the floor to our guests by asking them the big question of who are you?
My name is Sayuri, originally from Japan. I've been living in Bali for, I've been living outside of Japan for about 14 years already, including India and Bali, traveling many different countries. And I have a cafe, as you said, called the Sayuri Healing Food. And also the academy to run the raw food chef trainings. So yeah, in the same compound, we have cafe and academy. And then also we have a studio where we run many different events every night. And my passion is to share and to teach. And I'm really passionate about doing this raw food chef training. We have many different training, like not only becoming a raw food chef, but raw dessert and raw chocolatier course and the fermentation course, sushi course, and vegan cheese course. There's many exciting things happening in our cafe and academy at the moment. And yeah, I'm very passionate about anything to do with health. I've been practicing yoga for many, many years, and love dancing and singing and playing music and animal. And I have several cookbook, which is available on Amazon. And I'm so happy to be in this amazing place in Bali, and I've been here for about 8 years. My cafe has been there for 3 years, and it's becoming a kind of community for everyone, which was I intended to.
Beautiful.
So it's a little bit about me.
Thank you so much. And speaking of the community that you have made, I saw on your Instagram that today is also the 3rd birthday of Sayuri Healing Cafe.
Yes, it's on Wednesday.
Okay, so it's upcoming.
Yes, on the 3rd year.
Okay, perfect. So how exciting. I wanted to unpack a little bit what you said about, you said that you're originally from Japan and then you moved to Bali and you've been living in Bali for quite some time right now. How did you find this transition from Japan to Bali? And how did you manage to integrate your roots with this new way of life in Bali?
It's a long story, but I will make it short. So at the age of, I'm already 44, just so you know. At the age of 30, until then, I was working in the vegan cafe as a chef in Tokyo. And all my life, I was in the kitchen. Even since my childhood, I was always in the kitchen helping my mom to make food. And my search for healthy food started in my junior high school, actually, because I wanted to eat dessert every day, but I didn't want to get fat. That was the first reason that I got into healthy food. Anyway, so I wanted to get out of it. I wanted to explore the world before 30 years old. So at that time, I quit my job and I took the intensive yoga training. And then that was the turning point for sure for me. And I went to India after the intensive yoga training. And after that, I kept traveling wherever I can practice yoga and wherever I can cook. I traveled to Australia, New Zealand, many different countries in Asia. And after a couple of years, I came back to India to work. And I spent 3 years, over 3 years in Goa to work in the yoga retreat center. But the whole through this traveling journey, I was meeting uh, the people I met was introducing me raw food, which that term wasn't exist almost. It didn't exist in Japan in my reality at that time. So that word was new, but the way that the way and lifestyle and eating style wasn't new. It was something that I was kind of doing it. I was eating in that way, and so I get more into it, passionate about it, and so when I started working in India, I just started experimenting from the book. There was no one to teach me, so I got the dehydrator and the Vitamix and everything all the gadget that we need. And I was cooking for 30, 40, 50 guests every day. So I get to experiment every single day, and I was having the direct feedback. And that was the time that everybody was kind of showing the interest in raw food. So that took me to continue the journey, and I came to Bali because I wanted to assist the raw food chef who was catering for the yoga teacher training, 1 month intensive yoga teacher training. And that's where I learned a lot, actually, how to roll in the raw food kitchen. And I came back again to continue assisting another time. And then after that, after that, I took over the chef position. And I continued a couple of times, and then we with the partner at the time, we opened the cafe called Seeds of Life, and then we started the raw food chef training on our own. And then after a couple of years, I took out myself, and then I started my own cafe and academy. So that's the little bit short story of how I came, how am I here now.
Thank you so much for sharing. It's such a beautiful story, and also very inspiring to know how many different connections have come across your way to really unfold in this way that in your life. Because I believe that sometimes in our lives, critical people, key people, really play such critical role in our lives that really help us to really unearth what we have deeply in us. And having said that, do you specifically remember someone who has played a key role in your journey so far?
Yes. When I start traveling to India, I met the person in the where we were sharing the same house, and then going to the same yoga school. And then he was his name is Adam. He was much younger than me, and he was from New York, vegan chef. He introduced me actually raw food, but it was not about raw food. He kind of changed my whole perspective. The energy to go outside from my heart. Before it was like about me. But then he changed that this way. And yeah, it was amazing experience for me, and I'm so appreciate the meeting with him.
Thank you so much. And it's such an interesting kind of point that you're making, so relevant in what we are doing here in this platform. We're trying to really bring visionary people to help others to see the world in a different light, to have this bigger perspective of life, to really come out of this really limited focus on the self and really moving outside and really bringing the service to the world. And how do you now integrate this gift that this Adam, this friend of you, have given to you at Sayuri? How are you changing people's life and perspective of food? Because I have had the pleasure of being at Bali. I lived in Bali for 4 months almost, and I spent I think, half of that time at Sayuri, apologies, Healing Cafe, trying all your beautiful food and really watching how you're so mindful and really intentional in what you're doing, your staff and everything. How are you training these people? How are you bringing these people in this community together?
How am I? It's a lot of question in one sentence. What do you mean? You are asking how do I train my staff, or?
I rephrase it. I agree. So it was a really big question. My question is, okay, you had this journey of transformation to view yourself in respect to others, to really bring something to the world. And now you're doing this in your cafe, right? And you've managed to build this community. How are you transmitting or giving the same mindset to your staff and to the people, to food?
I mean, I have no strategy to that. It's just a flow. But I guess it comes from how I see the food. And it just comes from my, I don't know, passion. You know, for me, food is to connect. It's a connection to life, to all life, to within us, and with connection to myself and with others, to the environment, to the nature, getting in touch deep your core of who you are. But the food brings people together. And I mean, food does a lot of, it can be a tool. You know, it can be a tool to connect to the higher lane. There is many aspect that food can does, but I mean, when we talk about healing, food can be a medicine, but it's really the food help us to brings harmony and peace within us, along with the nature. And that's kind of basic, and this is something that this is something that I want to not even to share, but this is just a basic understanding my view to food. There is no strategy about it. This is, but if you ask me, maybe this is coming from my understanding of that food create a peace and harmony within us and with nature. And so if we can feed ourselves with nourishing good food in the most natural way possible, higher vibrational food in seasonal and local, we get to cultivate the connection to the environment and within us. And that's kind of bottom line of the healthy food. And that, I mean, not only the food, that's the bottom line of the house. And those food can support us as, you know, to eliminate the waste, and also to have the ability to create the ability within us to cure and heal ourselves. I mean, we are the part of the whole. We are the part of the whole. We, like, you know, nowadays microbiome is a big topic of all the bacteria within us, and then internally and externally, and then it's all connected. Human, plant, animal, invisible bacteria living inside, outside of us. It's all ecologically, you know, we are part of it. So of course, eating the food locally and seasonal, organically, it's gonna make us to align with everything else. If our body can align with that energy, our homeostasis can adjust ourselves as it should be. And sorry, I got sidetracked into the different direction.
No, right,
but
no, it's apologies. It's I think it's a really good direction that you're going, and I really welcome it. After all, you know, the podcast is about rich connectedness. So the core of this series that I'm making at ideaXme platform is about really showing to the world the interconnection between everything. So you're right in a sense that we are a part of a bigger system, and it is this understanding that allows us to I think to build peace and harmony, as you're saying. And the homeostasis that you're speaking about is absolutely correct. That I think we are organically made to have a set point in that the stress level and all the chemicals automatically go in balance within us. So in a way, you can continue in the line that you're speaking is perfect. It's really aligned with the spirit of why really paying attention to a high quality food is really important for future.
Sorry, is that a question?
Yes, why paying attention to the quality of food that we're creating? It's important.
Why having a high quality food is important? Because food becomes of us. What you eat is gonna become of who you are. No, physically, mentally, energetically, and spiritually. You know, sorry, it's I was gonna sidetrack. So, I mean, the good example is, do you want to eat the organic fresh tomato, fresh from the tree? Or do you want to eat the tomato in a tin? We're gonna take in that energy of the food that we eat. The fresh organic tomato has more juicy, vibrant, higher energy, and actually they have a higher light energy. If you ever see the Kirlian photography, which captures the energetic light energy of the matter, like we human is eliminating the beautiful light, and we call it aura. And fresh food has a beautiful light. So if we eat the light, we can potentially become the light, which we are. We can shine our light, or inner light, your gift or your authenticity of who you are. And in Chinese traditional medicine, there is Jin, Qi, and Shin. Jin is the core energy. Qi is the movement energy. But the ultimate goal of your life is to shine your Shin, which is your inner beauty, inner gift of shine that you can. That's how you can serve in this lifetime. So for me, eating those light is very important. Eating higher vibrational food is important. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. Of course, it does make sense. Thank you for sharing. I know that in raw food training, you have different process of fermentation and different basically steps to prepare your food. How are you, how are you make a balance between fresh food and a food that needs to be processed?
Sorry, how do I what?
How do you balance between
Balance.
the content, the high quality fresh food and the step-by-step process that you need in order to basically create some raw kind of some of your recipes? For example, when you have some recipes that they have fermentation, how do you balance this basically the balance between quality fresh food and the processed food?
I wouldn't call it processed food when the process of fermentation and dehydration, it's not, I mean, of course, anything that is even blending, dehydration is all, it's a process itself, and then it might decrease slightly of that potential power of the food that they have. But I wouldn't call it a processed food. It still preserve all the light and enzyme and all the important nutrients. And that's why we don't heat for some products. Although it's not only raw food that we are serving. And I'm not advocate 100% raw is the way to go. It's completely individual, and you know, there is a reason why Ayurveda and Chinese traditional medicine has been there for 5,000 or more than 5,000 years, and they all cook. And cooking is just really simple. Simply, it's a different energy. I believe it's adding the fire energy, and our digestion energy is a fire. And so, you know, I mean, people can choose. So answering to your question, I'm not sure what by what you mean of balancing with the processed food. But my understanding of blending and dehydrating and fermentation has its own function. Fermentation process will give us more of the benefit of having the probiotic and create the healthy environment in our gut. The dehydration gives nice, it preserves the food, and it will gives a nice texture, and it will enhance the flavor. And it's great to combine with just a normal salad, for example, so that the food can be more exciting and then more enjoyable and palatable for everyone. And our food is designed our food is not designed for the detoxification. Like it's not the detoxing promoting food, but this is something that healthy food that can be enjoyed by everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. I know at Sayuri you also have different events going on. For example, you have yoga course, you have workshops, and quite a diverse range of activities are going on in the same place that you have the raw food training. How do you find the artist? How are you balancing? Because you're originally a healing food cafe. How are you balancing different activities at your place while staying true to your message?
I'm not really trying to balance or anything. I'm just open to whatever it comes. I have my friend organizing the event. And it's also like same as your previous question that, you know, about the stuffing. I don't control, and many things happens organically. Like I don't educate the staff to be a certain way, you know. I think but I can see they are enjoying to be a part of the team, and the energy that we create, it's like really it's not only me putting the energy, everybody, even include all the customers, we are all creating the what do you call it, community, I forget the word, a specific word, but anyway, community field. So I guess we attract the certain event. Usually, instead of we look for, people look for us. And my friend is the filter. And I guess he choose of what aligned with what we offer. Yeah, but so far I don't really need to dare to find a way to balance, or, you know, find a way to control.
So it's a very
collective energy that I wanted to say.
This is very interesting. I know that I asked you 2 times 2 different questions of how do you balance. The main aim of these questions is to really bring this, I think, self-organizing, organic way of letting things unfold and cultivating that attitude. And when you're in the food industry, I come from a scientific background, and an industry that doesn't, I mean, it's organic, but not to the extent that your industry is organic. However, I think the attitude of really trusting the flow and letting people to also contribute to the growth of something, it's very valuable for our industry. So if you were to share few words about how are you cultivating flow?
Yeah. How am I cultivating the flow? We have like 50 staff at the cafe, but I have a key person, manager, and then academy instructors, and then we have chef, front of house. I think the bottom line, the most bottom line for me is the trust. I have a full trust to them. and they know that I trust them. And a lot of people ask me a question, how, you know, how do I manage those a lot of numbers of people? But I don't really manage. I trust them and then let them to do in the way that they want to run. And then I just yeah, so how I flow the things organically, right? And before I used to be perfectionist, and I get really, you know, agitated if things doesn't goes in the way that I want. But it took me a lot of experience that to go through to be able to let go of that mentality. And now I am okay to be okay. That doesn't have to be perfect. I'm actually trying to find a way how I can live my life without any stress. And then in order to do that, I need to trust myself, and I need to let them to run in their own way. And although I'm, you know, it's not always in that. It's not always like it work in that way. And I'm still on top of certain things. But that's how I want to make it work. And I usually delegate the things. And I think that also gives them to feel trusted. And I want to make sure everybody is important. I want to make sure everybody feels they're important. It doesn't mean I check everybody. I can't check every 50 people. But again, if there is an intention, it's contagious. You know, it's happening. It's people. I mean, our staff is amazing, as you know. Mm-hmm. And I can see they are very motivated, and the rest I just enjoy, hang out, and just be there. And it seems like it works. And I want the customer to come to be also, you know, feel comfortable and welcomed. But I don't have to say that. You know, it's happening already. Mm.
So interesting. The points that you're making, trusting people, delegation, and also letting things to basically run their own organic course, and letting other people to feel also important and part of this vision that you have. I think these are really valuable, I can call it managerial points for really, I think, any industry, because I think when we build big systems, I think that the scale of the system can really block the way that the vision is flowing, and also how the staff and other components of the system really interacting with each other. So I really appreciate the points that you offer. I have another question about your like, given the way that our world is becoming very technologically driven, so we're seeing the impact of technology and social media in our lives. what kind of changes have you noticed since 5 years ago in your own 3 years ago, I have to say, in your business? But generally, how are you seeing the impact of technology playing in your industry?
Technology as in
Connection,
like social media.
social media, internet, the way people connect, and how it gives access to businesses. As by technology, I mean that.
I'm not sure about. I don't know much about it, to be honest. But by having the social media network, people can, even the people who is not here in Bali, they can get the taste of how it is like to be in this community. And that's really something really great about. Apart from that, I don't know.
Are you planning to have some online courses for people that cannot be in Bali?
Right. Yes, we would like to. We'd like to. It's just taking some time, and we just need to find, someone who can help us. We have one online course. It is not from us, but from the different platform, and he's collecting the different chefs. Vegan cooking course, online cooking course, and I'm also a part of it. And then I share the simple 8 lessons of raw food cooking classes. So that's a good start.
Yeah, I think that would be, I think, interesting, because I think the number of people that are offering such quality raw food is so limited. And I think there is a big need for that, and also I think would be a really good source for people who are interested. And moving on from that question, I wanted to come back to the question of who you are, because I asked you to introduce yourself, and then you said about your books. You're the author of a number of books. I have some of them. I read them, I have to say. What was your journey in writing those books? What was your motivation?
The original motivation was I had so many recipes written by hand, and I just needed to put the things together, and that was the original intention, so that makes my life easy. But yeah, writing books is really, really a big commitment. So my first book, it took a long time. Not knowing, I mean, I did pretty much everything on my own. And, if you don't know how to edit and all that, how things work, you just spend so much of wasting times. And I spend so much time to waste. Like, for example, to taking the photography, which I did on my own, and I didn't know what kind of photography will be needed to create this recipe on this page, Anyway, I mean, writing the book is a never-ending story. You actually always find something you can make it better, but you just need to find that line. This is to be okay. And then for me to put it on Amazon, selling online, on online, took me a lot of time. But I'm very happy that I've done it, because this 4 book was pretty much all I had already, and I just needed to put it in order. So now with all this book, I can make anything and everything. New idea, you can just twist from the things that I have in the book. And it's very useful when we run the road chef training, because when everybody wants to make something, I always have an example from my book, and then for the student. So yeah.
Interesting. I think it's, I agree with you. I mean, writing a book is really a big commitment. I have, this year I have 2 of my books coming out, and I agree with you that it's such a beautiful process, but it really is a big commitment, and it's a lot of, I think, inner also working when you write something. It's a big journey. What is your vision for Sayuri? Are you going to, like, the cafe? Are you thinking of branching out to other countries, offering your expertise to, for example, in United States or other countries?
I don't have an ambition. I'm happy where we are now. My original intention or vision, if there is any, was to create a community. And I just happened to be a chef. So that was a cafe. So original intention was I wanted to create a space where people can meet, get together, hang out, play music, and that's kind of it's happening now. So the future vision, I don't know yet. I want to have the academy to be more happening. Yes, online course would be nice so that we can reach out to more people. And yeah, I'm open to any potential.
Very interesting. I really appreciate what you say, that I don't have an ambition and I'm happy where I am right now. Because, you know, I think we live in a world that is basically, it's designed, can I say it's designed, or it's kind of manufactured in such a way that it's about more and more and more, and kind of branching out all the time and going in. So when you say that you're happy where you are, it's such a fresh idea, and really, really also makes me think that sometimes it's really great to also take time to enjoy what we made and really appreciate the gift of manifestation. As you said, you already have made a beautiful community in Bali. That is, I think, a big achievement. So congratulations for your, I think, this understanding that you have. And I wanted to, I mean, we're approaching the end of our interview. I wanted to ask you some questions about your perspective on the future of sustainable food, and how, if you can, we can take some lessons from Sayuri and how you have this intentional food attitude to other countries. If you're not planning to have a Sayuri, for example, in London or other parts of the world, but we can take away some lessons from your cafe, from you, in connection with food. What are the lessons that you want to share with us and with the audience?
For me, the intention in the food, love in the food, is really, really important, much more than the vitamins and minerals, what kind of nutrition in the food. So how you like the relationship to food, how you receive the food is really, really important. receiving the food with gratitude, love, is going to transform the food. That is something very nourishing to your soul. I think sometimes we forget that, uh, especially when we are so disconnected to the food where it comes from. So in that sense, having the fresh organic food is going to help us to relate more of the love and good intention of the things that we put in our mouths. But what I wanted to say is really the intention, how we prepare the food and how we eat the food, how you enjoy the food, who you're going to share it together, and how you are feeling when you eat the food. That's all really matters. And for me, it's really important to enjoy enjoy the food. But yeah, receiving it is right intention and gratitude that can apply in anywhere, anytime, if you can take time. And I think at our cafe, that's kind of also organically happening. I believe the customer has that love and intention and appreciation when they receive their food.
Yes, I think I agree with you. I mean, you have such beautiful presentation and such a degree of quality is such a gift. So I think I know I'm not surprised that people, me included, receiving this food with such joy, because it's really a multi-sensory experience. You know, so beautiful at the same time, so tasty, and the people are so loving. So um, thank you so much, Sayuri, for accepting our invitation. It was very
Pleasure.
beautiful to have you, and really listening to your journey. I think it was a gift. Thank you so much.
Thank you.